There's the leadership lesson that every daughter needs to see. Your daughters are watching you. Now, whether you're male or female, you have a daughter out there, whether it's one that is biological, whether it's one that's adopted, whether it's one that is a cousin that you consider a niece that you consider a daughter. The little girls are watching. Now, when daughters see women lead effectively, they internalize this leadership possibility. They see the possibility of what they can become, what can happen with them, how they can lead in future. And it sets up as it gives them a setting for and a platform for where to start, not starting from scratch, not trying to discover their voice when they're in their 40s, but they see it earlier on. So when we talk about female leadership, I don't want us to just think about, because let me say this, a lot of people see female leadership wrongly. One of the misconceptions about female leadership is that women are trying to strip men of their leadership. Now, if you are a man thinking this, let me think of how to say this in a good way. I don't think there's any other better way to say this than to say you need help. It is not a competition. All right. It's different when we're vying for the same job. We're applying for the same job, trying to get the same, fill the same sales position or trying to fill the same executive position. Now we're talking about career paths and that we are competing for. But female leadership is not to the detriment of men. And I need both women and men to start thinking this way. So many men see female leadership as a threat instead of as a collaboration, instead of as a partnership, instead of as a way to grow. They are threatened by female leadership. They are threatened by this idea that the woman could become a leader, or the idea that the woman is a leader. That a woman is a leader does not necessarily mean that she's going to run everything. Doesn't even mean that she's going to run circles around you. Well, unless you let her, women are sure. If you let women run circles around you, we will. I'm just saying, I'm a woman, so I'm telling I'm telling you. And it's the same thing with men. If you allow men to run circles around you, they will. It's just human nature. But we need to remember that our daughters are seeing us. And if you are a man and you have a daughter, I want you to imagine this for one moment. Would you be happy that your daughter grows up in a world where her voice is less than another person's voice, where she cannot be a leader even when she has that leadership quality, where she is capable of being a leader, whether it's in business, whether it's in a personal life, in whatever setting? Would that make you happy? If you're honest with yourself, you know the answer is no. So if you don't want that for your daughter, why would you want that for your partner, for your wife, for the person that you're with? So that there's this double standard, and we live in a world of double standard. And then coming back to the women, we need to understand that whatever we tolerate is what our daughters will likely tolerate. Whatever we allow to happen is what will likely happen to our daughters. So if you know that you have the capacity to lead, or you have that calling, you have that thing in you that says, I can lead, even if it's in this small area. Now, when I'm talking about leadership, I don't mean everybody needs to go stand on a big platform. No, not on, there are leaders of all kinds, leaders at different levels. You might be a leader in your street, in your community. It might just be in the estate you live in the complex, in the block of flats you live in. You could be a leader in your village community, or in your church community, or in your mosque community, whatever religious affiliation that you have. You could be a leader there. But when you know that there is that possibility and you choose to keep quiet and you let yourself be driven over, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, you are doing your daughter a disservice. Because guess what happens? Your daughter sees that as normal. And then even when she then struggles with her own identity, her own leadership identity, she then struggles to come into her own. But if you let her know that it is okay to have an opinion, it is okay to voice your opinion, it is okay to understand that you can be a leader and step into that leadership. And not just by telling her, by showing her. We as adults, we grew up in a society that tells us do what we say, not what we do. We have to go past that. It is no longer do what we say, um, and not what we do. Children copy what we do. Listen, I copied what I saw people doing. Let's just face it. Even though we're told do what we say, not what we do, we all copied what we saw being done. So let us not sit here judgmental and all holier than thou and pretend as if we only listened. Yes, we listened, but we still copied what we saw being done. Children copy what they see you do. So if you let yourself be a punching bag, your children will let themselves be punching bags. They will have a harder time struggling to not put themselves in that situation. If you and listen, you can say you are staying in a situation and in a community because you want them to grow up in that community setting. At the end of the day, you mess them up. You're setting them up to go get therapy in the future, to get their minds right, for them to understand that that is not normal. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is, and I've said a whole lot, and I hope you've taken all of that stuff. Daughters copy effective leadership. They copy leadership, period. Whether you're effective at it or not, they will copy it. If you hide your leadership, there's nothing for them to copy. If you are, and we tend to try to say we are being humble by not speaking up. Not speaking up and humility are not the same thing. You can be humble and speak up at the same time. So you you can have it in a way that you set your daughter up for success. Think about the kind of life you want to have, what you have missed out on, the things that you could have done earlier if you had come out of your shell, if you had had a voice earlier. Now, if you only found your voice in your 40s or in your 30s, why would you not want your daughter to find her voice in her teenage years? Why would you want her to go through all of those years not knowing who she is? And let me tell you something, this cuts across to boys as well. I want my boys to know who they are earlier in their lives. I want them to understand the principles of leadership. I don't want my boys growing up to believe that they are default leaders without putting work into it. I want them to learn the principles of leadership. And our Bible study every evening is actually based on leadership principles. I want them to understand that. And it's the same thing with my daughter, all my children. They need to understand the principles of leadership. So whenever they step into a space of leadership, they know what to do. They can develop it, they can grow it. But they watch me. They watch what I do. They watch how I say. They watch how I step into my leadership. If I am messing it up, they can see me messing it up. If I am doing well, they can see me doing well. They will copy what they see me do. And I have so many interesting conversations with my children. And sometimes I have those conversations without asking them direct questions, but I can see what they've picked up, whether it's good or bad. And if it's something that I messed up and I see they pick that up, I'll tell them, listen, mommy made a mistake there. So don't repeat that. Okay, that's not a good example. So pick the other one. So we should also be able to have that open conversation with our daughters, our sons. And yeah, as much as this video was made for daughters, I had to, I've got boys too. So I tend to curse and speak to both. So please, please hear me out. Hear me out on this. Your daughters are watching you. Your daughters are learning from you. If you are a woman watching this, your daughter is learning more from you than anybody else. All right. So think about it. What is she learning from you? All right. Have a good one. Bye.